Enter one. Join internet sweetheart Dale. No, that's not quite right. What's another? Join your master of ceremonies, Dale. No, that's too far. I got an idea. Join the guy who knows things about stuff. This is the Generic Live Show with the guy who knows things about stuff, Dale Campbell.
Hey, the show is over. That is today's show is just that bumper. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. It's a pleasure as always. Thanks for joining us. It's good to be here on a Sunday on the Generic Live Show. Whether you're listening to us live or on your hard drive, live on twitch.tv/Generic Live Show, simulcast twitch.tv/GeekIO Show. It's a pleasure to be here as per always. Now, ladies and gentlemen, actually, the crowd said, there you go, let's bring that up a little bit. Are you ready for this? That's more what I wanted to play. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about the main story of this week. Oh boy, it's going to be a dinger of a show, because now what I've understood this story to be is President Donald Trump has put out a 3-part statement on Twitter saying that transgender people will no longer be allowed to serve in the military, in quotations, in any capacity. For audio listeners, in any capacities in quotation marks. Mr. Trump shot off 3 tweets Wednesday morning US time to make a surprise announcement. After consulting with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the US military, he tweeted. Quote, our military must be focused on decisive, and overwhelming victory, and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail, unquote. Mr. Trump did not make it clear whether serving transgender people would be expelled from the armed service. Interesting note, we'll get back to both of those there in just a moment. Transgender people were allowed to serve openly in the US military for the first time last year under former President Barack Obama, when then Defense Secretary Ash Carter lifted a transgender ban. So it was a ban. Then Ash Carter, the former Defense Secretary, and then former President Barack Obama lifted said transgender ban that was put in place. I don't know who put the original ban in place. That hasn't been made clear in any of my readings here. I do apologize. White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders said the president was concerned about the policy. Quote, this is a very expensive and disruptive policy, and based on consultation that he had with his national security team, he came to the conclusion that elders of military readiness and unit cohesion made the decision based on that, unquote, she told reporters in Washington Wednesday afternoon. Now, there is a 4-minute, I believe this to be a
With billions of
4
devices
minute
around
kind
the
of,
world talking
hey,
to each
ad-playing
other,
on generic live show.
ordering things,
Take that off your bingo cards. But
moving things,
I believe
making
this
things
to
work.
be
We're
a
building a new kind of network.
sort of
So
breakdown
business
of
can
this whole story. So it's interesting to get this out here now. So here it is from Channel 10. A sort of
Donald
breakdown.
Trump has made yet another controversial decision. The US president has banned all transgender people from serving in the military. Trump tweeted his announcement overnight, reversing a policy allowing transgenders in the Defence Force, and that was put in place by President Obama just last year. On Twitter, Trump posted, after consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the US military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you. Here in Australia, transgender people are allowed to serve in the Defence Force, but...
Oh, hang on. Hold the phone. I did not know that. I honestly did not know that. That seems like something that I should have known. I mean, it makes sense, and I've heard the argument of if you're an able person, you should be able to hold a gun and defend yourself and your country. So, but that isn't, and that's an argument I agree with. So don't get me wrong there. That is an opinion, and that is an opinion that I agree with. But I did not know that they were able to do that in this country. That is fascinating. Anyway, continue.
Is it an expensive disruption, like Trump says? It's our daily dilemma. And Matt...
Okay, so they're now going to go into an interview style thing. So transgender people can openly serve in the Australian military. There you go. I did not know that. Pardon me for being gassy. Sarsaparilla. I'm having a glass of sarsaparilla. A big bottle of sarsaparilla. That's my excuse for being burpy. But back to this story. I think transgender people are able to serve in the Australian military. Oh, okay then. All right. Oh, hungory then. And I think so. Here's more.
President Trump announcing a major policy change via Twitter today, barring transgender individuals.
So that's more of the same thing.
They've been on a path to finally being accepted.
Oh,
those that are
hang on, there is
scrambling, leading many to ask, what comes next?
They've been so brave and courageous, those that are publicly out right now. They've been on a path to finally being accepted, and then the rug is put out from underneath them.
Elena Kupek served in the Navy as an intelligence officer, but waited until years after she was out of the military before coming out as a trans woman.
One of the reasons that held me back for so long was fear of losing my job.
That fear now hanging over thousands of transgender military service members after a surprising policy reversal from their commander-in-chief issued today in a trio of tweets. Please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail.
The message that's being sent today is potentially chilling, that maybe it's okay to marginalize our community again and start eroding some of the gains that we've made.
They woke up this morning and had their lives, their livelihood, their dignity and identity thrown into complete chaos and with no answers.
I remember thinking to myself, did I just get fired in a tweet?
Trans men and women like Trish King, willing to risk their lives for their country, now risking their careers to speak out.
And when I came out to my subordinates, what I found was people that weren't concerned with my gender. What they were concerned with is my history of service.
The latest...
Bingo! Thank you! There's the point I was trying to get to. It doesn't... And that's coming from someone... That person you heard there is someone who is currently serving in the military and is currently... who basically just said, did they get fired in a tweet? Is that what happened there? And the people on the ground, like Trish King was just pointing out in the barrage of clips there, I'm sorry that seemed a little bit unorganized, But the point that Trish King was making in that clip is, did they just get fired in a trio of tweets? Is that what happened there? Is that what happened there? And like Trish was pointing out, the point I was going to make originally was the subordinates did not care. They didn't care whether he or she, depending on of who it is, being a transgender person, didn't care if they were transgender or not. It was just a matter of their previous service. And I'll put it down to this as well, that this is not specific to transgender people, but their ability to carry out the job, and that is a requirement across the board. Like, across the board, the ability to do the job, man, woman, transgender, three-legged horse, like, that's, regardless of who you are, it doesn't really matter who you are or how that works. You've got the ability to do the job, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And this ridiculous claim that it costs so much is a little bit bizarro world to me. So a study, and this is really, really important, and this is the key part here. The whole reason behind, and yes, I am getting fired up, no doubt. And we talk about this again next hour, and I'm probably going to be more mad then, because starting the show off cold on this sort of thing, I'm just getting my flow happening. My flow happening, my flow happening, my flow. But yeah, I'm just getting my flow on, and I'll probably be more upset next hour as well. The whole point of this is medical costs. So a study done by the non-for-profit research think tank RAND, R-A-N-D, which fantastic read, that study, non-for-profit research think tank by RAND, which I might actually put up on the Facebook page. It is a fantastic read. Found that there were between 1,320 and 6,330 active transgender officers in the US military as of last year. Now, I know that window's a bit wide. It depends on if you are talking about frontline, if you're talking of back of house, if you're talking administration. It's arms of the government, and it's in consideration of who you are, what sort of role you're taking on. Plus, people leaving the military, people more missions. Do they call them missions in the military? I'm not too sure on the terminology. Apologies. The research is at odds with the president's assertion, Fred, that is transgender people in the military amounted to quote-unquote tremendous medical costs and disruption. The study found only a fraction of these officers, between 29 and 129, seek medical assistance. Oh boy. So, okay, can of worms. 129 even out of 6,630 is not that much. What would that be? That would be 1%. The 1.86%. That's even just the transgender arm of the branch. Even 29 over 1,320 is not much. That's, even if you take the minimums of both those numbers, that's still at 2.2%. And people getting in harm's way. I know me saying only 2.2% is not a lot. I understand that. It's still 2.2 people, transgender people, getting in harm's way, which is still a very, very bad thing. The closer we can get to zero on that, the better. But I know that that's never going to happen. I've talked about that on the show before. who would seek related to gender transition that could disrupt their ability to deploy. So that about 2.2% of transgender no, that's of all of those officers. Okay, so about 2.2% of transgender people who would seek related a medical assistant related to their gender transition. Okay, gotcha. But that's still 2.2% of those officers if you take the minimums of both those numbers. So 29 in 1320. This number was negligible compared to the 102,500 non-deployable soldiers in 2015 alone. So even if you take the minimum of that, so 29 and 102,500, that's a small number. Just want to put that out there. I just did the math just then. It's really small. It can also be concluded that the cost of offering transition-related healthcare to transgender personnel was relatively low, between 2.4 million and 8.4 million, which respects to, ready for this, 0.04 to 0.13% increase in healthcare costs. Right. Okay. The study also examined the policies of the militaries that were open to transgender personnel, including Australia. I don't know what that noise was. In no case did RAND team find evidence that the effect on operational effectiveness, operational readiness, or cohesion, the study found. Former US soldier turned military whistleblower Chelsea Manning, who is a transgender woman, said that Mr. Trump's announcements sounds like cowardice. And Chelsea Manning said, so, biggest, baddest, most dollar military on Earth crisis, but about a few trans people cry sobby face emoji, but the funds for the F-35 line face frowny emoji sounds like cowardice, cool glasses emoji, love hearts, rainbow, hashtag we got this. By the way, side podcast that needs to happen, Dale reads emojis on the on the internet. That needs to happen. Dale describes emojis for the podcast. That sounds perfect. Mr. Trump's tweets also drew swift oppositions from groups that represent transgender military personnel. Quote, "It's an absolute absurdity and an overstep," said Matt Thorne of Out Service Members Legal Defense Network, which advocates for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community in the military. He said thousands have been serving in the US Armed Forces without causing any issues. Transgender Nonconformity Justice Project Director Victoria Rodriguez Rowland said that transgender community will, quote, will not stop fighting, unquote, for justice. Quote, the military is often the last resort for people who can't find jobs because of discrimination, unquote, she says. That is true. No, that is very true. People, and that even happens here, that people seek military because they can't seem to get employment anywhere else because they try, whether they're on unemployment benefits or elsewise, they can't seem to get employment, so they go to the military because either they are fit for the military or they're very good at that style of work. And my gosh, people who are good at that style of work, more power to them. Give them a raise, I say. Give them a raise. The American Civil Unities Union called Mr. Trump's moves, quote, outrageous and desperate. Quote, thousands of transgender service members servicing on the front lines for this country deserve better than a commander-in-chief who rejects their basic humanity, senior staff attorney Josh Block said. You know, It's a heavy story, and we will be covering it next hour as well on the show. But for people only listen to the first hour of the program, I have to say this. Please do listen to the second hour of the program. It's tough. And I've got a lot of transgender people. Whew, I just had one of those moments. Sorry. I just had one of those moments where I just was just brushed with emotion. I don't know why. I just had this blanket of emotion come over me then. Of not necessarily what should I say, it's just what should I say without me literally bursting into, like, crying right now. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, if you watch the video to this, you'll see me, like, have this realization where my eyes are getting cloudy for some reason, and I don't know why, but mainly because this hits very close to home, and very, very close to home. Not me personally, but family and very close friends that are transgender and are in that community, and imagining them being discriminated in this way is very harsh. And not only are the transgender people who are serving, which they are doing an amazing job, they are doing a job that I could not do to save my life or to save anyone else's life, but for them to be hurt in this way, or even because apparently it's not real and the people in the actual military arm of the office isn't carrying through, but assuming that what says goes here, so because that's what you have to do because it's the Commander-in-Chief, and whether executive orders this or does whatever he does. I just said that was a really weird moment I just experienced on the air. Like, I want everyone to know that. Like, that is a really weird moment I just had. But for them to be discriminated in that way, I think hurts as well, and the people surrounding them, because family members and close friends, very good close friends, want to see their friends who are going through this battle as well. They want to see them, kick ass and do well as well. And I said on Twitter a couple of days ago, I said to my transgender friend and my sister, keep fighting and stay strong and keep being awesome. # we got this. And it's something that you wouldn't think in 2017, because of the year we had in 2016 with all the negativity and what have you. It's something that still needs to happen. And you couldn't believe that it's something that's been reversed, particularly this long away, and this coming, just, we came so far, and then a roadblock was put up, and it sucks that roadblocks keep getting put up for the LGBT community, and it is a shame, but we just got to keep fighting for it. And it's something, and I just had this weird out-of-body experience just then, that it's like, not necessarily, I just want to curl up into a ball and cry, but I have a show to do, and I have things, I've got a whole 2 hours of this show to still do, and it's just, I wanted to take this moment and live in this moment as well, is to say, to support my transgender friends and my sister, of course, who will probably hear this and probably go, oh, we got a shout out. But I just wanted to tell these people as well, don't give up. Don't let this be something that you should give up on as well. Just because one person says that you can't do something. And we're running through our commercial break. I don't care. I make the rules here. If I'm out of this business, what is the point? No. my point was, it's. I'm sorry to bring this down, but I think we need to keep battling at this. And for one person saying that, oh, we're doing this because it's a business decision and we're no longer going to be hiring this type of person. Let's make this smaller. Let's make this smaller. Let's say a local produce store, right? Mum and pop, actually no, a multinational produce store that sells bananas and apples and peaches and eggplants, for example. Just to name a few popular vegetables and fruits. But, okay, a multinational, they have lots of people, they have lots of ranges of people that work at this particular chain, right? And for some reason, the CEO of the company says, we can no longer have... I'm a little bit hesitant to say what I was about to say then. I'm like, oh, careful. We can't hire this one particular group of person. And yes, if you saw coming, I'm just going to blow this wide open. I'm just going to say race. We're no longer hiring this one race of person. And I understand, full disclaimer, race is not the same as sexuality or gender. I understand that. It's a minority group of people that live in a group of people. And that is something that there's similar nature in those sorts of characteristics. I understand that transgender people are different from, say, Aboriginal people and, say, people from Central African nations that are different from people who are from other parts of the world, if that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. But I think it's so back to the analogy of this multinational chain. They are huge, right? They have lots of different stores. They have about 2,000 stores in this one nation that I am now going to be calling the Generic Liveland. Generic Liveland, or GLS for short. In GLS land, it's GLS land now. In GLS land, this multinational produce company that sells bananas, apples, and eggplants and peaches. Was it peaches? Yeah, it's peaches. Are now no longer hiring this one group of people. And they're saying, okay, these people are taking too much entitlement payoff. Okay? Someone does some digging. And it turns out that no, they don't actually take, well, they take a little bit off, but it's in proportions with everyone else. It is a little bit higher, but law of averages say that it cancels out overall. It might be higher in one location, say a rural location, in a rural location it may be a little higher, and in metropolitan areas it may be a little lower. Law of averages, it equals itself out. And then someone from the company goes, hey, you can't do that. Dun, 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 dun. I used to be an employee of said multinational chain, and then I got fired from that multinational chain because that's, because I whistleblowed them or something. Hypothetical. This is all hypothetical. I don't think I put that at the top of the thing. This is all hypothetical. So, what is the reaction then? You can't necessarily... What is the action now? The action is for transgender people to keep fighting the good fight that they do, and that is what that is, and people can keep being awesome, and hashtag we got this, and the virality of this hashtag is actually worthy to the cause, and isn't just the cause. Because we're not talking about the hashtag we got this, we're talking actually about the topic, and the hashtag actually complements that topic. I'm off the topic, but I'm off topic now. But in that case, you could boycott the the multinational produce store and grow your own vegetables and grow your own bananas, apples, peaches, and grapefruit. What is that solution? And people would do that. People would do that if over a move of a company that didn't do something that the public wanted, they would boycott. You see it in supermarkets all the time. And you see it in clothing stores all the time when people use cheap labor and they buy materials and treat their staff poorly. You know, it's a boycott. And those boycotts happen. But what is that in this case? You can't necessarily boycott the military. You can't boycott the military. And that's again, not something you can really do. And it's a tough call. Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the disconnect that I'm having here is, again, you can boycott this produce store, but you can't boycott the military. I mean, you can encourage people to go on march and you can raise awareness about countries that allow transgender people to serve in the military, like Australia, for instance. That's fine, but that doesn't stop this from happening. And maybe it'll change the minds of where it matters the most. I suppose that is definitely true, and I believe I've been informed that it has. But there's no 1-2 punch here. But do we now? The thing we face now, and I hate making this argument, but it's definitely another side of an argument that is a non-issue for me personally, but it's another side of the argument that I was thinking about when I was at work today. The other side of the argument, what is, do we now see an uptick of transgender people in the military? Because this has gotten such loud promotion. Do we now see that in the future? Do we now see an uptick of transgender people in the military? Because they will feel empowered, which as they should. They will feel empowered, they will feel able, they will meet the criteria, they'll be awesome. They'll fight not only their internal battles, which is a lot for a person to go through. They'll fight on behalf of their country, which is a brave thing to do. And they'll get accolades for it. But the person, if I hear one person say that again, if I hear one person say that this will now definitely drive up medical costs for transgender people and rah, my response to that will be, maybe we'll have to review the standards. Maybe we'll have to look at kind of, you have to be transitioned for a period of time beforehand. But is that discriminating people who discover themselves whilst in the military? Excuse me, I knocked my microphone. That is true. And it's a finicky topic, clearly, because we've ran way into every single commercial break of this show so far. But that's not the matter. The matter here is we're unpacking a topic. I don't care. I've thrown the show out the window. The show's off the rails. And I knew it was going to go off the rails, and I don't know why I was convincing myself that it wasn't. But where was I going with that? Oh, it is a very finicky topic. It's a very, very finicky topic. And I had to get my opinion of it off my chest, because again, oh boy, getting teary-eyed. I just had this overwhelming wash of emotion before, where I don't think I've ever had that moment on this show. I don't think I've ever had a story invoke that much emotion before, where we've taken the first half of a show to unpack it in its entirety. And I think for now, where it stands is we kind of have to have the conversation, and for Trump to fire off these tweets, which is another whole nother show on its own, by the way. It's a whole nother show on its own that I will never do because I won't have the patience to do it, is talking about PR and Trump. And that is something I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole, so we'll leave that alone. I'm leaving that alone. Unless you want to donate to patreon.com/geekio and do a show about PR and Trump, and I'll produce it, and it'll be happy, fluffy ice cream time for everyone. Not that I won't study it for my own reference, but whether making a show about it or not's a whole other story. But and it's all that as well. It's having Trump fire off for 3 tweets and then having his White House spokesperson clean it up at a press briefing, and there's that. Not even releasing a proper statement. Do we live in a time where traditional statements is not a normal thing anymore? Do we live in a world where we're going to say brass things in tweets and then we're going to get an unpacked version from someone else? Mind you, this is someone else we're talking about here, which is fine. People can have spokespeople. That's not what I'm not into, because I understand the purpose of them. But having them clean this up, of course, it caused controversy, and of course it caused outroar, and that's what I'm meaning. Someone has to quote unquote clean up the mess. I don't know if I'm okay with something as very, I don't want to say attacking, but as targeted. Now, not as direct and targeted, the message that is, and definitely an indictment on the subject matter of transgenders in the military. It's definitely a targeted message and a targeted attack, because marketing hat for a second, I think to myself, is this the message of the US military? Is the US military want to market themselves as people who want to exclude transgender people from their military? I'm the shot in the dark here. Absolutely not. They want to include as many people as they can to fight the good fight, because that's the purpose of the military, is to get as many people as possible to fight the good fight. That is their mission statement, and I don't think that they would want to exclude transgenders in particular, because that doesn't look good on their brand and their message. Definitely their core message. I think that, I don't know, where was I going with that? Trump's brass things, and yes, we dropped the Trump tracker, and I feel like we've talked about more Trump on here since we've dropped the structured Trump bit on this show. But there was no way I was going to let this story go unturned. There is no way. Not when it hits a heartstring with me. Not when it hits me personally like this. And it's a shame. I don't know. I tell stories on this show. I definitely tell stories on the pre-show and the post-show, and I keep personal things, and they're all fun, and even if I have a horror story, I try and see the edge. And I've said this definitely on the Geek.io show before, because that's more of a conversational podcast than anything else, than this show is, because this is more of a predominantly news show, but definitely stories have come up. I don't make them as personal, and if they are personal, I try and either see a funny or weird or a different edge to a bad situation. With this, there is no way I wasn't gonna talk about this, and I don't know why I tried. The reason, and for people in the pre-show will understand this. That's the reason why I was like, well, yes, I was playing around with some broadcasting stuff and yawn, right? That's stuff that you guys won't want to hear on the proper show. And I was also gearing myself up to talk about this story on the first half of the show. And oh my god, it's 20 to 10. Oh my god, I've been talking about this story for 40 minutes. Holy fudge. So did I just swear? I think I just swore. Oh well. It's going in the show. And I think I didn't realise I was talking about this story for 40 minutes. I know I was right on the commercial break when I started, but this has been a whole nother segment, you guys. Just to round up, and I will mention this story. I will make this clip of the week. This is clip of the week is this, and particularly after the commercial break, and I'll probably cut it somewhere in the middle. But my reaction to this story is definitely going to be clip of the week. And again, like I said, I don't think I've had a story particularly hit me as hard as this did. Oh boy. Generic live show, everyone. Have fun. Hashtag we got this. Which, by the way, can I talk about... now, there's a lot of angles to a story. Let's talk about this hashtag real quick. Now, there's two people on the internet that I know have talked about this. I've used this hashtag. Me and Chelsea Manning. That's who's used this hashtag. That they're the only two people that have used this hashtag. Oh, there's some other ones that have used this hashtag, but I don't think I can read those hashtags on the show. Spread the word. $5 in school supplies, and you get an amazing workout. Hashtag we got this. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. The hashtag we got this could mean something about a gym. But recently, excuse me, the hashtag we got this is good because it's not overwhelming the story. It's spreading the message that you want to spread, and it's something that can do extra words in your tweet, but without saying them. Because what I wanted to say in the tweet, little behind the source here, what I wanted to say in the tweet was, you go girls and boys, go you transgender people, keep fighting the fight that you want to fight, you know, the fight internally and the fight externally. I wanted to say all that, and I think I did on the Facebook page, on the Generic Live Show Facebook page at facebook.com/Generic Live Show. What did I say over there? But we got this on, particularly on Twitter, where you're shortened to a particular length in tweets. It's kind of it's saying that message of we've got this, guys. You know, you keep you go girl kind of thing. I should have done the hashtag you go girl. That's definitely a thing I say. Dale, be original. Jeepers. Actually, you do a show called the Generic Live Show. You can't really do much. But that's the point. The hashtag doesn't overwhelm. It doesn't become its own thing in particular to the story. And I think viral hashtags, that's the main problem I've had with this. So what I've said on the Facebook page is there is no word yet of up to that of what I mentioned earlier before the commercial break. Actually, I will read that paragraph. There is no word yet current up to 6,330 transgender people, a study done by non-for-profit think tank RAND, who are currently serving in the US military, who every day are not only fighting on behalf of the United States of America, but constantly fight battles within themselves and externally within society. That's basically all I've said in the YouGoGirl hashtag. And I think that definitely conveys the message in the YouGoGirl hashtag. That's... Boy howdy. Hey, I think it's time for a commercial break. We will be taking a commercial break. We're only going to be taking one commercial break at this hour because this hour's gone really long and I need to take a drink, actually. You know what? Actually, you know what? We're not taking a commercial break. Actually, do we need to take a commercial break? Do I need to take a rest? I do need to take a rest. I'll take a rest. And then you know what? You know what we're going to do? We're going to read reviews of reviews for the rest of the hour. Why not? We're doing reviews of reviews for the rest of the hour. Because I want something a little bit lighthearted to finish off the rest of the hour. Because, boy, how do we need it. Thank you everyone for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here. We're doing it for Geek.io. I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry that the show's gone off the rails. And if I've said something that you want to have a conversation with me about it, feel free to just comment on wherever you're hearing this. And not on the podcast because I don't get those. Actually, you can leave a review. I can see those. And you can definitely email the show, genericliveshow@gmail.com, genericliveshow@gmail.com. And I'm sure you can send emails to Geek.io and it'll make its way to me. You can send emails to thechefwonder@gmail.com, thechefwonder@gmail.com, or genericliveshow@gmail.com. Either way works. Or if you have my phone number, you can call me up on my telephone. I'm not giving that out on the internet because that's not that silly. But get in contact with me if you want to have a conversation about anything I've said in this first hour, and that's definitely wanting to have that conversation with people because I'm up for that, clearly. I'm up to have that conversation, clearly. Boy howdy. Can we rescue this show? Can we give mouth to mouth for this show? Yeah, sure. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, it's Dale Campbell here with you. After this break, we're going to be doing Girls Trip. Girls Trip. It's the booty hole movie. You can't get an infection in your booty hole. It's a booty hole. We're going to be reviewing reviews and reading reviews of that because we need something lighthearted to finish off this hour of the Generic Live Show. Good show so far. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. We're doing it for Geek.io. It's 9:48.
Hey you! Yes you, fine listener of this program. You can help us become more than what we already are. I know, it's a revolution. Hold on to your butts because I'm about to give you a URL address that could change our lives. Not really, but it would help us out tremendously if you went over to geek-io.net/support so we can do a lot more than what we're actually doing now. That website actually has a lot of links on it where you can help us out monthly through Patreon at our Patreon site at patreon.com/geek.io, or you can help us out once off by supporting those who support us. But then you can become the ones who support us, who support you, who support us. It's Supportception. To continue this Supportception, it's in your hands. Go to geek-io.net/support to keep this ever-long cycle of support up. Thank you.
hit.
Where did you hide?
Where the sun don't shine.
You know what? It can cause a lot of infection.
Girl, you can't get no infection in your booty hole. It's a booty hole.
Find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Generic Live Show. This is the Generic Live Show.
What an interesting first hour of the Generic Live Show. This is the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Daryl Campbell here with you. We're doing it for Geek.io. Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure to be here, as per always. Thanks for joining us. It's good to be here. Man, trying to rescue this show is going really well for me, isn't it? Being caught drinking before right on the bumper music, playing licensed music on the show is also great when that happens. Also, I'm just gonna keep playing this.
Bomb ass kush if you want to take a hit.
Where did you hide?
Where the sun don't shine.
You know what? It can cause a lot of infection.
Girl, you can't get no infection in your booty hole. It's a booty hole.
That's still the greatest moment. That's gonna be the best line of 2017. You can't get an infection in your booty hole. It's a booty hole. Is it bad that I want to go see that movie? Is that kind of bad? Can we go see that movie right now? Right now! We're quitting the show. No. We're quitting the show to watch Girls Trip. That's definitely happening. But no, that's not happening. What is happening right now is we're reviewing reviews. Yay! Okay. I don't have a theme song for reviews of reviews. I think I should. Okay. Reviews of reviews. So we're hiding the spoiler ones. We don't want to do spoilers. Too much profanity. This one has 5 stars. What? Plot is great, actresses/actors, top of the line. Loved the New Orleans flavor with no you, because, well, my favorite scenes, again with no you, scenes dash in the club on whatever she put in the drinks. Hilarious. Hunching the mine outrageous. Excessive profanity. Derogatory name calling. Among friends? Question mark in parentheses. Messed it up. Overall, it's worth the mantle price. The manatee price. The manoranity price. The anemone price. The anemone price. There you go. That's that. Hey, short review, short, sweet, to the point, does what it needs to do, and tells you all the main highlights of it. So there you go. There you go. Sexual and crude humor all the way. This one is 6 stars. What's happening with these reviews being suddenly all positive all of a sudden? I don't understand. Okay, I'm going to be perfectly honest, and this is probably not the most popular opinion, but I didn't like this film. I'm sorry, but you gave it a 6 out of 10. Is this some sort of weird American scale where they give it a 6 out of 10 and it's barely a pass? This is one of these weird instances. Please tell me that that's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's not a grade. You can't get a grade in your booty hole. Everything involved the booty hole. Well, Ryan Pierce Hall, a successful author and businesswoman, in an effort to hang out with her girls again, decides to be the keynote speaker at Essence Festival in New Orleans. As the 4 reconnect, secrets come out and the women need to figure out if they have outgrown their friends, and if it's time to worry about themselves. What? As the 4 reconnect, secrets come out and the women need to figure out if they have outgrown their friends, and I just put a comma in there and I shouldn't have. And it's time, and if it's time to worry about themselves. Okay. Okay. You know what? That's fine. That is a weird review. I'll read the rest of my review at I'm not going to promote that website because this is not a paid service. You have to pay. You have to pay for that. And there you go. This next one is 7 stars. There you go. I love to laugh in a packed theatre, and I'm forgiving in my ratings of comedies overall because I think it's lots tougher to make a truly funny comedic film than any other genre. Boy, that's a run-on sentence if I've ever heard one. Most importantly, then, Girls Trip does deliver some genuine gust-busting hilarious moments, but at the over 2 hours long, it bogs down during some repetitive too similar gags, and especially during the more sentimental moments. Oh boy. And towards the end, some of the scenes even feel tacked on, and slow pace way down, and I was pulled out of the film's momentum. I even had time to notice otherwise wonderful ensembles seem too kind of boring performing those sentimental scenes. Whew, boy, I don't think I can continue reading that. There you go. My score is comedy 7.5, movie overall 6. But okay. Now, can I rant for a little bit? No, this won't be a 20-minute rant on IMDb scores. Could you imagine though if I did that? That would be amazing. Just do 4 blocks of 20-minute rants, even though that would actually equal 18 minutes. So, and then I have to have I'd have to have 20 minutes of actual show. That's what that would be. That is exactly what that would be. And that's I'm previewing myself on video because I need something to look at during this show. And okay. If you're going to say you don't like the movie, don't give it a 7 out of 10. Now, the thing about me and Spider-Man is Spider-Man Homecoming, I actually liked the movie. I thought it was an okay movie. I think it was a good movie. It had it just didn't click with me, and that's okay. Depending on who you ask whether that's okay or not. Hi CJ, I know you're listening. I understand that it didn't click with me, and that's fine, but I still understood that it was a good movie. If I said, for example, like some of these people are in this IMDb reviews, I hated the movie 9 out of 10. That's what they're saying. They're saying, oh, I didn't like it that much. I just thought the comedy was a bit too excessive in parts, and I didn't really like it that much, and it's not my cup of tea. So I reckon I didn't like it. It was a bit excessive, and the comedy was a bit crude. 6 out of 10. I think so too. I don't know what this voice is. I think it's this voice. Like, seriously.
I got some bomb-ass kush if you want to take a hit.
Where did you hide?
Where the sun don't shine.
You know what? That can cause a lot of infection.
Girl, you can't get no infection in your booty hole. It's a booty hole.
It's a booty hole. Like, stop, Lorraine. Like, oh my god, you're just so worried, Lorraine. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know what this voice is right now. As we continue here on the Jack Live Show for a Sunday, yes, we are going to be talking about Donald Trump effectively saying he's going to ban transgender people in the military. And I don't know how long I can hold this voice for. And we're not going to go into too detail because the show kind of went off the rails. And we're kind of trying to get back on track. As you can see, as we continue, thanks for joining us. My name's Dale Campbell, and it's the current time right now
in the Australian Eastern Standard Time Zone here on the Sunday. Thanks for joining us. We're doing it for Geek.io. It's 10 o'clock.
Hey you! Yes, you. Find